welcome everybody to the Redevelopment Commission meeting of September 2nd, 2025. We will start the meeting with a roll call, please.
C. Scamballeri here.
Randy Cassidy here.
John West here.
Lori McRobbie here.
Deborah Meyerson here. Staff present, please.
Anna Killian Hansen, Housing and Neighborhood Development.
Christina Finley, Hand Department.
Roy Ayton, Engineering Department.
Jane Cooper-Smith, Economic and Sustainable Development.
Jessica McClellan, City Controller.
And Amy Caswell, Hand Department.
Dana Kerr, Legal Department.
Great, thank you everybody. We will start with our minutes. We've got minutes from Monday, August 18th, 2025. Is the attachment of the RDC versus tenant properties, is that also from August?
That was from the previous meeting.
Okay, I mean, I knew that,
yeah.
I appreciate that it's on there. I just wanted to make sure in terms of what we're doing that it's the same set of minutes. So, okay, awesome. Okay, well, any questions or comments on these minutes from August 18th or the attachment? If not, I will invite a motion.
Move approval of the minutes for August 18th.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. We'll do a vote by roll call.
C. Scamballeri, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda, we've got a claims register for August 29th, 2025. Any questions or comments from commissioners on this claim register? If not, I will invite a motion.
So I move approval of claims register for August 29th, 2025.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. We'll do a vote by a roll call, please.
C. Scamballeri, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Claims register passes unanimously. Okay, next on our agenda is the payroll register for August 22nd, 2025. Any questions or comments from commissioners about this item on the agenda? If not, I will invite a motion, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
First and a second. I'll vote by a roll call, please.
C. Scamballeri, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Passes unanimously. Legal report. Well, we're going to go to reports from staff, please. So from the hand director, please.
Sure. I don't have a formal report to this evening. I will say that we have a lot of activity over at the Hopewell site right now. Not only do we have the Jackson Street stub going in, we also have the remediation underway, which they're actually starting now, which is great. They have also started the remediation at the 714 South Rogers Street building. It does look like there may be some additional work that may be coming to you sooner than later, just due to the fact that the air handler was off for so long. So we will probably have to have another resolution for that. And then the core building did have a little bit of trouble last week. They were installing a radon mitigation system, drilled through the slab and hit some sort of substance. They're not sure what it was. They've taken a sample. It's been sent off. I will keep you posted as soon as we hear anything. But
Okay. All right, lots of stuff going on. Do we have a legal report?
Yes, we had discussed the memorandum agreement with the American Red Cross, and they had wanted a few changes. It was in the section regarding the indemnifications and hold harmless and the commercial insurance to more match up with what they have in place. And it went through Corporation Council, and those changes were all agreed to, and so it's in your final form. You approved it under Resolution 25-100. The resolution itself does not change. It's only the attachment that changes. So you would simply need a vote to replace the attachment on Resolution 25-100 with the one that you have before you tonight.
Any questions or comments from commissioners about this updated resolution in terms of the attachment per se?
Does this finish everything else where we can have a blood drive and we don't have any issues?
Yes, it does for the RDC. It still does need to go to the Board of Public Works for
Okay.
their side of things. But as far as the RDC property is covers it.
Okay, so we'll be covered on this, but
Yes.
and will this addendum cover not just the Red Cross, but also other things, or specifically the Red Cross?
Yeah, it's just the Red Cross.
Okay, and then what we previously approved as far as setups and such, it still has to be approved by Public Works before anyone can schedule.
It would need to be approved by Public Works if it went, if it was gonna be in a non-RDC property. And so they will take it to their board in a week or so, I believe, and hopefully approve it through there, so it'll be done with everybody. So, for instance, they couldn't do one on the city side right now, but they
Right.
could do one in Showers West right now,
Okay.
if you adopt this.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Copies for you to look at.
Thank you.
That's lovely.
Computer.
Okay, well, thank you for that legal report. Anything else from commissioners about this attachment before we move to our next on the agenda?
Do we have to approve it, though?
You need a,
Oh, we do need, okay, I wasn't sure since it was,
Yeah.
yeah, just to exchange, replace the attachment 1 from resolution 25-100 to the MOU you have in front of you tonight.
okay. I'm gonna suggest, if you don't mind, that we just wait for the rest of our reports for now,
Okay.
and then we'll go back to maybe, can we even do this at the end of the reports as opposed to under old business, just to kind of keep it top of mind? Okay, so thank you. We'll just kind of pause that for a moment and get back to that. Do we have a treasurer's report tonight?
No, no treasurer's report.
Okay. Business development update?
Not this evening, thanks.
Okay, well, our list went through pretty quick, and we are back to resolution 25-100 with the newly revised attachment. We've had our questions and comments. I will open it up for public comment. Anything online or in person? Seeing none, I will invite a motion
Move
for
for
this.
approval.
Second.
First and a second, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
C. Scambolery, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes, passes unanimously, and that is legal report for resolution as added to resolution 25-100 for the attachment from the Red Cross MOU. Okay, well, we will now move on to new business, and that starts with resolution 25-106, which is approval of funding for a change order 1 for Hopewell West. Dennis Drayton.
Yep, good evening, Roy Eaton with City Engineering Department. This is part of our Hopewell West project that was awarded to Kreider & Kreider in the amount of $1,687,318.85. This is change order number 1 that has come before us. It's a result of the project had a soil management plan that's being managed by VET that wasn't realized prior to bidding. So after bidding, there was some additional charges. This is a scope change order that we've gone through, where it's additional stockpiling until it's tested by VET, and then the soil's moved to another location, and it's managing those stockpiles and keeping all the soil on the project. So those are the items that weren't aware of prior to bidding, but we're aware of now. So we're asking through change order number 1 to have those items added to the project. The change order is in the amount of $153,000 for $153,444,070. And then an additional 14 days are being added to the project. So our final completion date now would be November 15th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners on resolution 25-106?
Yeah, I've got one. With all that said, isn't resolve number 2 incorrect? That not to exceed number is the old total, not the new one.
Oh.
It's a good catch, not Yeah, so the original amount is for the bid was $1,687,318.85. This is would be an add of $153,444.70. The final contract amount then will be $1,840,763.55. So you're correct, that will need to be revised.
Thank you for that, Kat. Any other questions or comments from commissioners on this?
So based on the soil management plan, we didn't know we had negative or nasty soil, essentially.
Well,
Sorry.
we knew from the environmental review that we were doing, they were charging forward on Jackson Street and ended up taking it out for bid without talking to us to say what's going on there. So there was definitely a disconnect that we've now realized.
The city was aware of it, that what it was, that's why it's a change in scope,
Okay.
instead of
Would-
an unforeseen site condition.
Yeah, would it have affected the original bids?
This amount would have been incorporated in the original bid,
Incorporated.
so the original bid would have come in. This is just work that needs to be done. And on that, we were given numbers by Kreider and Kreider for this. They came in exactly what the estimate would have been for it, so there was good numbers.
And when we deal with this remediated soil, it's going to stay on site and be capped?
At this
or-
point, we've incorporated into the plan to keep this on site. It'll be tested. We're testing everything out there. So we're anticipating that none of the tests will come back yet, but the test results will be considered safe. And it's just better to leave it on site from a environmental impact thing. So yeah, we're gonna there's plenty of room on this job site to have fill
Okay.
placed in it, so.
And that won't affect us in a negative context with any additional residential
We're
development?
not keeping contaminated soil.
Right.
If it comes back clean through the testing process, then it'll be reused.
Okay, otherwise it'll have to be taken off site, which
Exactly.
will come back for an additional.
Well, you've already approved that through vets. Well, we will have additional if we have to, depending upon how much we have to dump, but that's through the vet contract.
Okay, so that contract is for the site as a whole, not
For
just
the
our.
west,
For the west side, yes, the entirety of the west side of Hopewell, not just the isolated area where we identified a previous gas station.
we have due to our environmental review, we are required, because we aggregated it under, I can't cite the CFR, but we are required to now have the soil management plan for the entire aggregated site of blocks 4 through 7.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from commissioners on Resolution 25-106? If not, I'll open it for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will invite a motion for this resolution, please.
Move approval of resolution 25-106.
Second.
Second.
Got a first and 2 seconds. Do we do a roll call vote, please?
Sue Scanbury, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes?
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Resolution 25-106 passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is 25-107, approval of funding for addendum number 2 to the professional service contract for the Beeline Trail and multi-use path. This is also Mr. Eden.
This is me, Roy Ayton with City Engineering. This is our Beeline Multi-Use Path project. This is the section of path that's between Adams and Fountain Drive that has yet to be constructed. We had hired Caramita to do an environmental and test the soils. There were some soils out there that had lead impacted soils. They were very low levels. We went ahead and we have already approved to the RDC the resolution to have them do the actual contracting work of picking it up. What we did not have though was, because we did not know the quantities of soil until now, there's a disposal fee that is from Waste Management to take the soil up at Twin Bridges. They have invoiced us now. We've added that to our agreement with Caramita. So this addendum number 2 to their resolution is in the amount of $11,666, and it's the disposal fees from Twin Bridges.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners on resolution 25-107? There are none. I will open it for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will invite a motion for resolution 25-107.
Move approval of resolution 25-107.
Second.
Got a first and a second. We'll do a vote by a roll call, please.
C. Scambolery, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Resolution 25-107 passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is resolution 25-108, which is approval of a lease for the 4th Street Garage commercial office space with Visit Bloomington. Who would like to speak to that?
I'll be happy to speak to that. Jane Cooper-Smith, Economic Development, and then Mr. Kerr, I'm sure, can provide additional context if needed. We approved this lease under a previous resolution, and Visit Bloomington, the process, that was 2559. The Visit Bloomington team director, Mike McAfee, took that back to the board, his board, and they also investigated in a more detailed way the costs of building the site out, and so they came back with a request to reduce the annual rent rate a fair amount. And so after communicating with Director Killian Hansen and doing some additional market research, we determined that this is on par with market rents, and the staff feels really good about recommending approval of the requested rent rates. John West, you had asked about the renewal terms, and this does include 4 additional renewal terms, and it allows for addendums to be approved at the time of renewal, so those rates would be negotiated at that time. And I think Visit Bloomington was really interested in having those additional renewal terms because they're making significant investment in the site and in the property, and they're really committed based on the presence of the convention center. So again, from a staff perspective, we feel really good about making a recommendation for approval for this resolution, and I'm happy to take additional questions. And say Mr. McAfee was really disappointed not to be able to be here to take questions as well, but he had significant conflict.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions or comments from commissioners on resolution 25-108?
I'll just make a comment. I had the opportunity to look at this document and also consult on the rental rate, and I find it to be in the city's best interest to go ahead and move forward with this lease.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? If not, I'll open it for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will invite a motion for resolution 25-108.
I'll make a motion to approve 25-108.
I'll second it.
We've got a first and a second. We'll do a vote by roll call, please.
C. Scambolery, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Resolution 25-108 passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is resolution 25-109, which is approval of a second amendment to the CARES Act Community Development Block Grant Award to the Bloomington Housing Authority. Would like to speak to that.
We have Cody Toothman from our department who will be speaking to it.
Hi. Afternoon, if everybody can hear me. Yeah, this amendment would actually grant an extension of time for actually all the recipients that are on the board for tonight. The original contract had stated that they had until May of 2023 to expend all funds, but the paragraph right underneath it would also have given them 6 years to completely expend. The HUD deadline for these funds before they are reverted back or unable to be used is actually September of 2026. So we're seeking to expand that time to actually line up with HUD's cutoff date for the use of those funds.
Thanks. And so I'm actually going to introduce this just real quick as we discuss it, and especially if staff have feedback on it. if it would be apt to group the extension because they're pretty much the same
It's
for all the
pretty much the same,
organizations.
yes.
So this would be for resolution 25-109, which is currently on the table, all the way through 25-112. So that's 4 amendments, or 4 resolutions that are being comparably amended. So I'm just proposing that we would approve those as a group. And if there's any, again, if staff have any, either endorsing that idea or reasons not to do that in addition to what commissioners might add to that.
I would recommend going ahead and doing them together. We do a lot of our CDBG contracts the same way, grouping those social services or physical improvement projects, and these all are the same. So.
So with that report and that proposal being recommended by staff, any questions or comments from commissioners on any of these 4 resolutions on CDBG funds or the extension of the deadline? Nope. Okay. Not seeing any, I'll open it for public comment either in person or online. Not seeing any. I will invite a motion for the resolutions 109 through 112.
I'll move approval of resolution 25-109 through 112.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
C. Scambolery, yes.
Brady stepped down.
Oh, John West, yes. I was just listening for that.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Motion passes unanimously with 1 abstention, shall we say? Okay, well, thank you. Next item on our agenda is resolution 25-113, which is approval of an agreement with the Weddle Brothers Construction Company for temporary storage at the Convention Center parking lot. Who would like to speak to that?
I'll speak to that one. You have the resolution before you. There is a part of the parking lot at the Convention Center where the city of Bloomington owes 2 parts of 2 parcels, and the RDC owns the other part. It's actually owned by the Bloomington Municipal Facilities Corp., but there is a deed where they have transferred it over to the RDC that we've come across, and we are going to be recording that, but the deed has been signed. So the RDC does own the property and part of the property. There is an attachment that has a map that shows at the top of the map would be the hotel that's adjacent to the Convention Center on the south side. Then there's a parking lot owned by others, and then the blue hatched area on the right is the location where Weddle Brothers would like to store materials during the construction of the Convention Center expansion. So they have asked for a right of entry to do that, and we have a right of entry agreement and a resolution that accepting that agreement.
So the blue hatch is ours.
The blue hatch is, the northern part of it is RDC, the southern part of it is the city of Bloomington. They own 2 longer strips, the city of Bloomington does.
Then it goes into the county.
Yes.
How's that going to affect parking?
You mean current parking for the
Current parking.
for the convention center?
Yeah, current parking.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that same question.
That's my concern as far as we're.
Yeah, I didn't negotiate that. Do you guys want to jump in?
That's a lot of parking that you're
Yeah.
taking off the,
Yeah.
they're taking all 3 of those. You got too many lines here. Anyway, both of those blue hashed. They're taking both of them?
Yes, the blue hatched area.
So that's dozens of parking spaces.
Yes.
Was the convention center consulted?
Yeah.
With this?
I wasn't even consulted about this. I don't know anything about this.
Okay.
Do we have some, sounds like we have some additional questions before.
Yeah, who negotiated this to begin with?
This was brought to our attention, I believe, by the CIB, with well needing to store their materials.
Hey, just to move things forward, I'm assuming they don't need this within the next week or so.
Well, it'll be a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, a
because
couple of weeks because of our next
It's
meeting.
gonna come back to us, and I would have a hard time approving it without making sure the convention center knew about it, and I don't wanna, put them out of business while we're.
Mhm.
Hey Jane, were you present for any of these conversations about this?
No, I mean, I was at the last CIB, but I didn't, this wasn't discussed at that meeting.
What's the procedure for tabling until we have the ability to have some additional conversations?
You just do it.
Just
Yeah.
table it.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to table until such time as our economic development director can have conversations with the convention center and see how that's gonna impact.
Or whoever.
Or whoever, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Talisha Kopic was on that email list, so she's aware of it. And
Well-
John Weikart and Jim Whitlatch, along with the controller and Margie and I, and the Waddle Brothers project manager were all on
Yeah.
the request for me to draft that.
But we don't, somewhere in the world, there's emails and socks, so.
Margie Rice, Corporation
So,
Counsel,
yeah.
is
Oh.
online and has her hand up if
Okay.
anybody would like to consult with her. Margie, you're up.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I do want to make sure, Dana, I did hear Dana just say that the convention center is aware of this. They're super excited about the convention center construction. They've been communicating on a regular basis with the CIB and their representatives, and they brought this to our attention to bring to you guys for your consideration. And so that's what we're doing tonight, bringing to your consideration. There's been no concerns at all. Talisha was on the original email when Little Brothers said, hey, we're gonna need some area for staging. And so they asked, what area was available. And so Dana put this together for your guys' consideration. But for sure, the convention center is aware of this request. And I think they're on board because they want to do whatever they can to facilitate the construction of the convention center.
Yeah. My only concern, Margie, is, well, it's in an email trend, there's been conversation that says it's not how it's going to affect them from an operational standpoint.
I'm
That's all.
sorry, you're concerned because you think it's gonna affect
No,
it from an operational standpoint?
I don't know. We as a community as a whole have confirmation from the convention center operator, which.
It's Talisha.
Yeah, Talisha Kopic, that this is a good place for a laydown area, and it won't negatively impact any of the operations that they're currently doing during the next year when we have construction.
So Talisha is the one who initiated the request and said that the project manager for Weddle Brothers needed to apply for a permit for construction staging, and that it required an affidavit from the property owner, which is why, since a couple of the parcels are owned by you guys, we wanted to get your approval. I don't think Talisha would have been recommending this if she thought it was gonna affect their operations.
Okay, she's recommended it, so. Okay.
She's the one who initiated it
Okay,
at first, yeah.
That's what we're trying to clarify.
Yeah, and so, a lot of these, as you can imagine, a lot of things that come to you guys have gone through a lot of different conversations with staff before it lands in a public meeting. And so this is just an example of that. Yeah, I think the different boxes have been checked before it came to you guys for consideration. Now, if anybody in the room thinks, that that's there are concerns about this from a city standpoint, like if we care about it, let us know, but we also are trying, it's a little bit one of those trick bags. We're trying to do what we can to facilitate the construction of the convention center and to save costs because it's coming out of our pocket, our food and beverage pocket. And so we have an interest in trying to facilitate the construction of it, and we're often accused of dragging our feet or slowing things down, and so we're trying not to do that.
So Margie, I don't have with what you said, I don't have a problem. I think that this probably would have gone smoother if the resolution had maybe indicated that the convention center operators were involved in this and and approved it, because the way we got it, it was kind of a dead-end topic, and as Randy said, it looked to me like we were just taking away parking spaces that the convention center might likely need, so that was the issue.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I'm glad we were able to answer these questions, but I do think that they're not concerned about it. And certainly, Dana, the way this is written, it can be adjusted as needed. Isn't that right? The way you've drafted it?
Yes, as far as the area that they have, yes, it could be negotiated. Let me pull it back up here.
Yeah, it's just such a weird site because they are using all of that parcel for construction. They need some place to put their stuff nearby.
I get it.
And
Yeah. I think we're okay. I'm okay with it after you said that Talisha specifically initiated it in regards to the operator of the convention center. We just want to make sure we didn't come back, as you said, as a community and appear that we were slow walking anything in regards to the construction of this convention center. This is a community project that we're all involved in, and the city of Bloomington is financing it through our F&B. So it's important to make it.
and you guys know, I mean, you've already allowed Weddle Brothers to use an RDC-owned building for space. We're trying to be as accommodating as we can be, just so that we are not causing extra, delay, which is cost.
Well, I guess because there is, the agreement reads that with 30-day notice, it could be terminated either in whole or in part. If Talisha found out or decided that she just took off too much parking, we could redo the agreement and cut down on the allocation of space and try to accommodate her.
We can, yep, for sure.
Yeah. The only other thing I have is just to make sure that, and I know Weddle Brothers will do a fantastic job, to make sure that it gets put back in the same condition it was, or better.
Yes, it states that Weddle Brothers shall return possession of the property in the same or improved condition as when Weddle Brothers took possession. Any improvements must be approved by city staff.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dan.
I just wanted to, it's just this kind of an editing thing, but at the top of the resolution, oops, sorry, I'm just trying to get to the space. Sorry, I was just scanning to make sure that my question wasn't answered in the resolution, and now I'm getting back to the space where it says that they all agree.
What page you on?
Well, that's what I'm trying to recapture where I was looking at. It was a statement that said the city, RDC all agree on this. Sorry, I just lost it. Let me just do a search, because there was an abbreviation of BCM, and I was looking to see if that was specifically indicated what that stood for. Okay, so this is page 205 in the packet. This is, I guess, from the previous, because it says on the second day of August. Should that say second day of September? Or is this, again, I'm trying to just, anyway.
Scrivener's.
Yeah, so you to page 205. Yeah,
Okay, so my question is specifically in the middle of the page where it says, now therefore in consideration of the mutual covenants, terms and conditions of this agreement, the city, RDC, and BCM agree to the following. I just don't see a specific reference that says what
Yeah,
BCM
that was
refers to.
That's a
a
good catch.
different group.
Benshore, construction management.
Yeah, that was related to construction at the core.
Yeah, good catch.
Um,
Yeah.
And I can,
And is, also is the date then incorrect also?
At the first line, I mean.
Yeah, the top, where it says.
Right, where it says 2nd of August
August.
as opposed to 2nd of September.
It's gotta be wrong because your resolution.
Right. I just, again, was
Yes.
trying to make sense of if there was some addendum that was for a previous reference or whatever, but,
and I can have that
Okay.
modified here.
so
in
this
just a
is
second.
under the contract cover memorandum is the first page of it, and then the summary of the contract is what I'm looking at. And then that's the next page that says agreement for temporary storage at convention center parking lot, so it's the date that needs to be updated to September instead of August. And then the other parties to the agreement, again, BCM is obviously left over from a different document, so just, is there a third party that should be in there? Is that Weddle
I
Brothers?
guess it'd be Weather Brothers.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, yeah, I can. Just,
Okay, and I'm just quick scanning the rest of the summary to see if it's all consistent as far as I can tell. But it looks like Weddle Brothers is a consistent reference, and then again, I was just looking at the signatures, which is again Weddle Brothers, City of Bloomington, and their RDC. So it seems like the rest of it is as needed, with just those two edits. Okay, any further comments or questions from commissioners? Otherwise, I'll open it for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will invite a motion for resolution 25-113 as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve 25-113 as amended with the date and the Weddle Brothers being added.
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, first and second, can we do a roll call vote, please?
C. Scambolery, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Motion passes unanimously for resolution 25-113. Thank you. Next on the item on the agenda is resolution 25-114, which is approval of Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Smith Incorporated, care of Bank of America, National Association, key provisions of lease termination. Who would like to speak to that?
okay, I can, or I'm not sure if Margie was planning on that. So I can move forward with that one. Pull it back up. Got everything open here.
I'm happy to chime in whenever. Dana, why don't
Okay.
you do that, since you have the resolution right in front of you, you do the start and I'll answer any questions.
All right, will do. Okay, so we negotiated with Merrill Lynch their termination of their lease at Showers West. What they requested was to be able to stay until March 31st, and they'd like to not to have to remove their equipment and furniture. They want to just walk away, and in return for that, the city would not need to reimburse them for any moving expenses or anything under the lease agreement. So this is, we considered it a win-win because the city, RDC is not paying anything, and they will be out, and it just, we still got some tenants that we're working with, and so it's we feel that this is a good way to go. And you know, if others wanted to do the same thing, stay till March 31st and not the RDC not have to pay any moving expenses, then they could step forward and do that as well.
Who paid for the original furniture and equipment? Sorry.
They did.
No, yeah, but I was about to invite questions.
Yeah,
so you started.
they did. They had done a build out, plus, they provide the furniture and equipment. My understanding from the discussions that they're actually going to be downsizing the office some. There was only 3 people that worked there, and this was a larger space, and they're probably going to do something smaller and may just update their equipment. And again, they just want to walk away from it. And
What is meant by equipment exactly? Here's where I'm headed with this. If any of this is computer related and requires us to wipe hard drives or follow up with disposition of confidential material or anything like that, I'm just trying to get at that. So,
yes, no, they would be liable if they transferred data that was personal or identifying information to us. That would be opposed to their contracts with their clients. It would be
right.
Opposed with business practice. Could really set them up for liability. So I wouldn't anticipate anything like that happening.
Okay.
So they're gonna pay rent through March.
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
Yeah, and I can jump in here. I have been working, Merrill Lynch reached out to CBRE, which is a, company that works in multiple states. I've been working with one of their transactions personnel out of Cleveland. And he's been interacting with Merrill Lynch in New York. And so the local team, I had originally reached out to the local team, Eric Sewer, and met with him, and then was quickly directed to these other professionals to work with. And I think this is a great deal for the city of Bloomington. Frankly, it's probably the nicest office space in Showers West. They had not long ago updated that office. And so the fact that they want to leave their furniture, again, I don't know exactly if they're going to take any of the furniture with them, but what they don't want, they'll leave, and their fixtures will not be a problem for us. I think it's to the city's advantage to walk away, and they've been very professional. They understand the terms of the lease, I think, from a kind of a more global perspective, and they've been very good to work with, and I would highly recommend that we take this offer.
So Margie, I've only got really one question, and that's, it's a bit of a delay from what you were trying to achieve. How does bond counsel feel about that?
It's not ideal. Ideally, I wanted them out in October. RDC granted until December, but if we are able to just get the keys back and not have to pay a settlement, I think that is worth the extra delay. There may be, if we have to end up litigating, if we had to litigate, it could take longer. So I think that
you're not to justify the arrangement. I like the arrangement. I just didn't want, I didn't want a bonding issue, January 1, because we didn't move everybody out. That's where I was headed.
Yeah, no, we are working on, one of the conversations I've had with, bond counsel also is just sort of the ratio of the quicker. We've got somebody who's going to be able to potentially move out in October. They'll stay, this will hopefully be the longest tenant that holds over. But we are slowly but surely reducing the percentage of space that is privately used and increasing the amount of public space. And so I'm not concerned that we're going to get a finding in January, as we are actively, and we can prove that we're actively working on getting the tenants out and reducing the private use.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question in regards to The only potential possibility we would have from the financial situation is if they leave and then we have to move something out in order to make room. Because
Yeah.
they're gonna walk
because
away. and-
There's not, I've been in that space when I went over for the first time to look at it.
I've been there too.
I don't think there's anything that's gonna, cause our facilities team a big problem.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
Hopefully you can reuse it as is.
Yeah.
It's a great space.
It's a nice space.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I just was gonna ask if there was any inventory that had been, even preliminary, just again, kind of following up a little bit with Sue's question about what does equipment mean? And then partly with Randy's question about, that any cost that might be incurred would be the cost of moving, which again, because we don't know yet how the space is gonna be used, if all of what they leave is gonna be useful or not. I just was wondering if there was any opportunity to have an inventory of exactly what they have and ideally even what's likely to be left behind that would make it easier to say, oh, this is a good deal. Because I have no idea what they're leaving behind, and I realize there's uncertainty in terms of how the space will be used and if what's left behind can be used. So there's not every question can be answered, but a little bit more in terms of an inventory would make it a little more practical to be able to gauge whether the trade-off is worthwhile, to me at least.
I can tell you, they have a receptionist desk that is fixed, that's a fixture. They have individual offices, they do have a server room. They will be taking their equipment, their computer equipment, all, information that's confidential. Obviously, they're gonna take that information and any of the equipment that's got that information on it. There is nothing, again, I've been in the space, I consider this, they spent 6 figures outfitting this space. It's a very nice space, and the fact that they are willing to, and that we were able to negotiate their departure without having to pay them any damages is worth it, and I don't think that there's any, anything in there that's a deal breaker that's gonna cause us a problem. In fact, it may be space that is, I don't know what the long-term plans are other than, using it for public use. There are no details, there's not been a, master plans are done for that space yet. So, but it's definitely space that you could move into right now and use.
I would just chime in and say that I've been in the space and I would feel that anything that's in that space that it's been left behind would be an asset and not a liability.
Yeah, actually, it's got marketability.
Okay,
It's-
well, even just because I don't know
Oh,
that
yeah,
they may
market.
take some stuff, so,
Yeah.
like just trying to kind of gauge, but it's helpful certainly to hear the people who've seen it and gauged, even if we don't know exactly what they're taking, what they're leaving, just trying to kind of.
It would be
Evaluate.
wonderful for the city if we could utilize it.
Okay. Okay.
I
thank
heard
you.
somebody say
And-
that.
and department.
Hand wanted, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Just kidding.
Quick question in regards to Merrill Lynch's downsizes. Are they going to be staying and keeping an office in Bloomington, Indiana?
Yes, for sure. In
Okay.
fact, their agent, PCV, already has asked for, my recommendations on, agents or places they might go. And they're definitely wanting to stay in town. And so I intend to talk to him. I told him I'd follow up with him after this meeting. But yeah, they definitely want to stay. It's just they have a fairly small office. Merrill Lynch again is a company that's got offices all over the United States, and they don't need as much office space as they were using in Showers West, and so they're just looking to find the right smaller space here in Bloomington,
Okay, wonderful.
which should be easy.
As it becomes a requirement that we have to move them out for our bond, I just want to make sure that we capture that company still in our community as a whole.
They're, when I
I
say
have to
downsizing,
emphasize
it's
that
size.
everybody-
No, I
Number
know,
of
I know.
employees.
Yeah, that's fine.
They've already downsized the number.
Yeah, just
Because I went in there was 8 or 9 brokers. Yeah, it was a fairly big operation. Now it's what, 3? So it's really.
Yeah, I think, it's a smaller.
Or 2 and a staff person. I mean, it's really slowed down.
Yeah, well, COVID changed everything. Yeah, so with that,
Well, technology does too.
yeah.
Well, thank you for those questions and responses. I will open it for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will invite a motion for resolution 25-114.
Move approval of resolution 25-114.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Sue Scangalari, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
Lori McRobbie, yes.
Oh,
Are you
John
abstaining?
West, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're dragging.
Deborah Meyerson, yes. Resolution 25-114 passes unanimously. Thank you. Last resolution on our agenda this evening is 25-115, approval of Bloomington Health Foundation Incorporated key provisions of lease termination. So going along a theme, who would like to speak to that?
Before you do, I need to recuse myself because I'm on the board of directors for the Health Foundation.
Thank you.
This resolution is similar to the Merrill Lynch, but this is the Bloomington Health Foundation. And the key terms that were negotiated with them was that the RDC would waive the lease payments for August, September, and up to October 15th, that they would leave the property by October 15th of this year. And for their moving expenses, they are asking for the sum of $19,542.50. Again, with the other potential, as Margie mentioned, with litigation and things like that, the fact that they're going to be out earlier and be able to get moved into a new location, I believe this would be a benefit to the RDC in the community.
Thank you. Questions or comments from commissioners on 25-115?
They're staying local. You've reviewed the moving costs, find it adequate and within reasonable amounts?
Yes, we determined that this was within reason based on what they declared their expenses would be for moving.
And if this is approved, how many additional do we have to deal with?
Margie, do you remember how many are still there?
Right off the top of my head, I have 7 in my head, but that could be, I don't have the sheet
Yeah,
directly in front of me.
think this.
I don't know if you got it, Andy.
I think there's 5 left after these two.
5 left, okay.
I believe that's correct.
And we're still in active negotiations with those individuals.
Yes,
Okay, because they're Bloomington companies, we want to keep them in Bloomington.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And there are multiple factors that go into these kinds of negotiations, and there's not a cookie cutter approach. This is a nonprofit organization. They do great work here in Bloomington. Again, I have talked to an exec team of their board members. I found them very reasonable to deal with, even though, their cost is obviously higher than, we're not paying Merrill Lynch anything, but they're getting out earlier. They do have increased rent cost. They have a very tiny space, and so they're having to move to a little bit larger space. Frankly, they were, again, very good to work with in the negotiations. We value them as a community partner. Don't think that these costs for the increased rent they're going to have, extra parking costs they're going to have, we don't think that these are unreasonable costs to pay to keep this good community partner in downtown. I think they're going to work with Cook, our CFC, and so all in all, I find this to be in the RDC in the city's best interest. So I would recommend approval. And again, I just want to reiterate that we are trying very hard to work with the tenants and not against them. It's easier with some than others, but I found the Health Foundation to be really sincere and helpful in the negotiation process.
They're good people.
Okay. Any other questions or? No. Yeah.
The $19,542.50, what is the source of that payment from our perspective? Oh, Margie, you're on mute.
I muted myself, yeah. So there's some forgiven rent, some costs for parking, cost and increased expenses that they're gonna have for rent, some moving of technology, some IT disassembly relocation costs, and AV equipment, some of those things that have to be moved. So essentially moving, packing supplies, relocation of equipment, and then the costs that they're gonna, like actual costs that they're gonna incur.
And then what are we paying that out of? Out of what account?
Is Jessica in the room?
Yes, can you repeat the question?
It's probably the 2519.
There's the same fund that we paid all of these, and I don't know if it's is it used to be called.
Oh, what we're paying the settlements out of?
It's the 2519. I would
Yes.
imagine that's probably the 2519.
Same fund we collect the rent in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And again, what they actually would be entitled to is likely different from this number, but again, given that they're a community partner, they need help in relocating, and they are getting out early, we do believe it's an acceptable number.
Okay, I'm going to open it up for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will invite a motion for resolution 25-115.
I'll make a motion to approve 25-115 as presented.
Second.
We've got a first and a second, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
C. Scambleberry, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John West abstained.
Lauren McRobbie, yes.
Motion passes unanimously with the abstention. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but that's what we got, so.
There you go.
Okay, well, that's all the item under our new business tonight. Is there anything else that remains for business or general discussion before we adjourn?
I have one thing I want to ask, and I think to date we've approved 100 and obviously 7 resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
How much have we spent, Jessica, since January 1?
Oh my gosh.
Well, give me a minute.
You got time. It doesn't have to happen today, but in a couple of weeks. I'm just curious.
How much have we spent
Yeah.
since January 1?
Since
Okay.
January.
It's a whole lot less
no
than what
problem.
we committed to.
2.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll go with that.
That's good.
Isn't that just a
Still got a few more months in the calendar year.
well, isn't
Some
that
of
just
them go
updating
next
Yeah, that.
the
Yeah.
TIF reconciliation,
recommendation.
whatever you call it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that will answer the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will definitely. I can, let me just.
By the end
put
of
my-
third
We're probably
quarter or
due to
something.
get an update on that
Yes,
anyway.
we're going to get an update on that. I was going to say, I can put my thinking cap on real quick and get you that.
It's not something I need immediately. It's just something
Not
that I
very
thought.
much,
Okay.
to be honest, like, just from the feeling. Not.
And you're
let's
talking
see.
out, Randy, out of the TIF account, right?
Out of the
Not-
TIF account.
Not out of the,
Not
what I call
25.
operational
Yeah,
account.
operational, just out of TIF.
Yeah,
Let's see
TIF was
here.
my primary concern. The other one is an operational account that we don't have quite as much flexibility.
I have
We can most certainly give you a report for the next.
Sure.
meeting.
For sure,
And
for
I
sure.
know we'll be coming up with a quarterly report, so, or monthly report.
Consolidated TIF.
Just
I
request for
just
future.
would hate for it to be answered off the cuff
Oh,
and be
no,
incorrect.
I would prefer
So-
to have a little time. That's why I asked, possibly by next meeting.
Perhaps we could remove the pressure now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No
just,
pressure.
Yeah.
I just want to
Well,
recognize that Controller
We're
McClellan
prepared
has
to
been in
adjourn. That
budget
can be,
hearings.
yeah,
for-
that can be
Yeah.
part of the business report at the
Next month, next 2 weeks.
We
Yeah.
spent 1.4 million in August, and so far this year we spent 5.3 million. There's a 2.1 million in January, and I can't remember what that is off the top of my
Was
head.
that payment for IU Health?
Oh yeah, it was the
Final-
payment, the final payment for
Okay.
IU Health was 2.1 million, and then like very like low months, like 400,000, 180,000, 74,000, so our months have been running really low, 300,000, 335,000, and then 1.4 million last month, which is, must be a milestone thing.
Or we required some documentation.
Yeah.
So, it's
Yeah.
been, running very,
Very
Yeah.
lean. It's
Running
significantly
very
less
low.
than what last year
So
was.
our internal rule is that we update that report every quarter,
Quarter,
right?
yes.
So it'd be the beginning of, it'd be October, the first meeting in October.
Yes, I think so.
So
Because we need to
So,
do-
I mean, I'd like, I don't want you to have to do the
No.
report in the middle, just
Uh-huh.
Just to
because
satisfy.
Randy
ask.
asked.
Quarterly's fine.
So, can we just stick to what we've already agreed to?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do
Just,
that.
just making sure as we.
You're concerned and you just
Well,
wanted
it's not
a
even a
general
concern,
update.
it's just a matter of being able to update the
Yeah.
public and ourselves as we know what our actual spend is and the
Well, we have
accomplishments that
we
we
have
are
a plan
getting.
that we're gonna do that.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I just also want to flag that, you know, just because it's what's spent is not what we committed to. They're
Yeah.
two different things.
Two different
And so
things.
don't think that just because we've only spent $5 million or whatever the number is, that there aren't more things coming down the
no.
pipeline.
Now, I'm just trying to look at that actual spent dollars versus commit dollars to make sure that we don't get ahead of our skis in regards to it.
We are not going to get ahead of our skis.
Wonderful.
We have a wonderful controller.
Yeah, and Anna will not let us get ahead of us.
I won't.
Okay.
Trust me.
I
I'll
trust.
Look
send it
at her
right back.
Yeah, she is.
And I have.
Would you
Appreciate
trust
that.
this woman?
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate
You're
it, Jessica.
welcome, no problem.
Okay, so we will look forward to that next month. In the meantime, I will request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, thank you,
Oh,
everybody.
that's my line.